What's up, air gunners? Let's talk accuracy versus cost versus accuracy, because yeah, it kind of becomes difficult for guys that are new, or if you're looking at buying an air rifle, what can you expect for a certain price tag? And just keep this in mind, even if you're an experienced guy, sometimes it can draw back your expenses when you really think how you're going to use the gun. Now, there's a lot of variables in trying to purchase an air gun, what you're going to use it for. But one of the biggest ones is obviously accuracy. And if you go on Pyramid Airgun Depot and you listen to some of the reviews or read through it, some of these air guns, these $300 air guns, are outperforming $3,000, $10,000 air guns. If you listen to the reviews, and if you don't think you can get $10,000 in an air gun, well, I just had a conversation with a bullet manufacturer, a slug manufacturer, and he was at the Rocky Mountain Air Challenge. And his wife was curious on these guys shooting these really nice rifles. She's like, well, how much does that cost? And he's like, well, the air gun's about $4,000, $3,500. The scope, Night Force scope, $3,000. Scope rings, moderator, a couple hundred. Tripod, $1,500 to $1,000. So you got $8,000 to $10,000 into a bench rest gun, 100-yard gun. And I was just kind of kidding around, like, well, at least you can still shoot squirrels with it, right? But it's not all about the money. It's the memories you create with the money, right? But you listen to some of these reviews on Pyramid Air and you're thinking like, wow, why spend all this money? But there's reasons, and it's kind of comes down to the first thing is, how do you define accuracy? Hunting accuracy, bench rest accuracy, and let's kind of break it down, because some people will just take a shot at 100 yards or 50 yards and say, well, it's one shot next to the dot I was trying to hit, so it's better than MOA or something like that. And then other people will take 3 shots. Some guys will take 5 shots. And kind of the most stringent way of measuring this is, a lot of the bench rest guys will take like 10 shots in a row to see if they get MOA or sub MOA, because it's much more difficult to get 10 shots in a row consistently out of a gun, because you have to be flawless at that point. That 10th shot, you're really nervous. Even the 7th and 8th, you got a good string running, you want to be consistent, but something happens. So just know that. So if we look at the accuracy and what we're going to spend, I'm going to break it down to 3 areas. And this is, that $100 to $300 gun, $300 to $1,000, and then $1,000 all the way up to sky's the limit. But that $100 to $300 air rifle is kind of more based on local sports stores, your sporting goods stores, the break barrels, the guns where you can buy the pellets and you don't need any compressed air. You just break it down and you shoot it. And usually they have some outrageous claim, like it shoots 1,800 feet per second, some alloy pellet, and it's super accurate. But just know those guns, those $100 to $300 guns, just going to say, probably my experience with them, 25 to 35 yards, probably about a quarter size group is what you can expect. And there's some exceptions. There's the Benjamin 392. It's like an 8-pump compression gun, air gun, that just more or less doesn't use a spring piston. To me, that's like a 40-yard gun. Shoots like 12 foot-pounds, but those, yeah, I mean, that's pretty good accuracy-wise for what you want to try to do. And once you go past that $300 range, you start getting into PCPs where you have to have a tank, maybe a pump, go fill your tank, have someone fill it. And there's some added expenses where you're not only buying the gun, but you're buying the parts to supply that, the tanks and all that. So $300 to, let's say $1,000 will get you, say, 35 yards to 75 yards. And yeah, it just depends, a Marauder, Benjamin Marauder, Air Force Condor, Disco, you name it. There's a lot of guns there that you can choose from. Ideally 50 yards, no problem. There is a ton of guns out there that will hit 50-yard, quarter groups, no problem. It's when you get 60, 70, you got to have your feet per second. You got to have really consistent shots. And then the 100 yards. So after $1,000, after you buy all your gear, you get into the next level, which that 1,000 to say 4,000 on up is really specializing. And yeah, you can get a 100-yard gun, let's say $2,000 in the middle, between 1,000 and 4,000. You can get FX Impact. You can buy, Airgun Leshy for $2,600, which is a small truck gun. It's regulated, but it serves a specific purpose to be very portable, yet very accurate. Not a huge shot count. Or you can get a day state with a big, 500 mil tank or 500 cc tank that will get you 200 shots. Yeah, there's just a huge difference. But the overall accuracy, it changes. It depends on the type of gun, but it doesn't go up all that much from 70 to 100. You're getting MOA, within an inch, maybe 10 shots close. But after that, after going past 100 yards, maybe going 125, at that point, you're really starting to get into some gray area with your performance and accuracy. And so that's just kind of things to look at when you're looking at the cost associated with this. It's not a linear 100, 200. It's more like 100, 800, like buying, hi-fi stereo equipment back in the day when they'd make a little tweak and you paid a lot more for it. But if that's your thing, you want ultimate accuracy, it does cost. So there's been many times a lot of us guys have been out in the field with just an average air gun that shoots quarter groups at 50 yards, 35 yards, and you're having a great time, plenty accurate, and you kind of think like, wow, I got a $3,000 gun back at home. And it kind of makes you feel foolish for spending that kind of money if you're having a great time with, a $400 rifle. And that's not cheap, but just to give you a basis, an overall view of the accuracy versus cost nowadays. And our accuracy keeps getting, every few years, like that stuff filters down to the middle level group and people get better accuracy for a little bit cheaper cost. But if you guys got questions, comments, concerns, write them down below, and hopefully I'll see you guys next week.